A teacher is a certain kind of being or animal, as they use the term. When you deal with students, they see you in the teaching light. In my later years, when I would go down the hall after school in my shorts to go play basketball, sometimes some of my students would look at me and they'd say, "Hey, Mr. Wims, you're wearing shorts." Like somehow they don't believe you're anything other than the image of a teacher. And you're not human. You're not like human, like natural, like their mom and dad. You're somebody special. Actually, how the whole evening started was supposedly just another Friday night at the dance.
It was a little church basement in Montreal East. We were having a dance for our clientele, a bunch of kids anywhere from 12 to 16. There might have been maybe 100 kids in the dance. And it was, something we did every Friday night. It was a lot of fun.
Stefan was the disc jockey at the time. Peter was working in the refreshment counter. And I was patrolling the dance hall from the very back.
And this one particular night, some of the kids started screaming, and lo and behold, there was this motorcycle gang coming in.
They were different with the whole leather and the motorcycle stuff and tattoos and everything, and I just said,
And these were guys anywhere from 18 to maybe 40 years of age. They were just coming in trying to cause trouble. And of course, the kids were scared. And I was on stage, and I was scared.
So when I went back to the person who was at the table taking the cash money, this person said to me that these people just walked straight in, and there's nothing she could do about it. And so then I said, my first thoughts were that this could be a problem. So these fellas were just prancing around the hall and sort of like peacocks prancing around, and they knew that they were frightening most of the patrons that were there.
They were more energetic. They wanted to cause some trouble.
They took girls up from the seat, sat down in the seat, and put the girls on their lap. And I said, oh boy, this looks like a problem. You can't expect that everything's going to go smoothly. There's a whole lot of other little miseries that go on. When you're so-called a chaperone, or you have people under your charge, the responsibility lies to you to make sure that that nothing goes wrong, that you're protecting them and things work out quite well. And you have to. At that point, I said to them, look, you people had not paid to come in. You shouldn't be here for the main reason that these people that are in here are young people and you're too old. Well, I got all different versions of French comments about it and snide remarks and so on and so forth, and I just left it at that. They looked at us, and of course we were dressed in the very modern style of the late 60s, early 70s, and they thought, well, these guys are a bunch of pushovers. But they got a rude awakening. I said, lock the door. Let's stop this.
Ralph is on the floor facing this motorcycle gang, at least 20 guys. And I said, oh shit, what am I going to do now?
I looked at Stefan and he threw me the stool. When I looked at him, it went into the air and quite, I would say, unconsciously. I grabbed it, I caught it in midair and I swung it. I swung it from my right to my left and it hit heads as it was going, and that's when it all began. As soon as it hit the heads, that's when the trouble was on.
I don't know what it was, instinct. I just yelled to Peter, shut off the lights. I jumped down into this corner with Ralph. And right behind us, there was a whole bunch of metal folding chairs. I started picking them up and just whipping them out into the crowd. And you could hear people going bang, esti tabarnak, and someone would hit the floor.
Then some of them who drew back, they started lifting up the chairs that was against the wall and they started throwing them about. I can remember that one chair hit one of the students coming out of the cafeteria or the kitchen area. He went back in very quickly because he was afraid.
And then all of a sudden, Peter put on the lights. So these guys wanted to fight. Ralph's standing in front of me with his hands out, gesturing these guys. Come on, let's go, let's go. And he moved into them.
There's two things about gangs you must learn, and a lot of you have not learnt it. Whenever you face a gang, you face them with a question first of all. I stood there and I says, okay then, you want to fight? And I wait to see who you look at. And the minute you look at somebody, he's a leader. So what I would do is I go over to him, give him a shot, everything else dispenses. Everybody else, because they need the leader to tell them what to do. And I just flail left, right, and center. Whatever I saw, visions of, I grabbed their hair, gave them a shot, they went down. If they tried to get back up again while I was hitting the next person, I gave the person that was down a kick. Go! Some of them would moan, try to get up, and it was just enough. So as they got up so far, they were right at the uppercut state. I just bring an uppercut and down they went again. One thing you have to remember that at that period of time, drugs were a very important part of the, how shall I say, the menu of the people of the day. So a lot of these motorcycle guys who came in were stoned. And one thing you must remember about being stoned is that your reflexes are a little slower. And so I knew that they were a little slower, and that's the advantage you have.
So I got sidetracked with one guy who came after me. So there happened to be a broomstick nearby. I sort of said, well, the hell with this. I picked it up and I whacked him across the gut with it. But he got back up and he said, come on. So I whacked him in the head. He went down and stayed down.
You hit a guy once, well, he's down. He's gone. I don't care how big he is. Another thing too, if he's bigger than you, he has to be able to stand up. So what you do is you hit him in his knees. Don't laugh. Think about it. They're starting to show it in movies now. You start to see these guys hitting people in their knees and the guy collapses.
Me? I don't take chances. I take my time. I take what's mine. If I was you, and you, I'd take a walk.
Watch out, Stefan. I turn around and there's Peter standing behind me on the stage with a Coke bottle. And it comes whipping down on a guy who's about to attack me from the back. Glass shattering, getting sprayed in Coke and saying, I'm still okay.
It was bedlam, but you could easily see that the bedlam was contributed to the three guys who were running it. To myself, Peter, and Stefan. And it lasted maybe the greater part of 10 minutes.
Everyone in the place, it's quiet now. There's like oohs and ahs, and everyone's looking at Ralph. He's got one guy by the hair, and he's dragging him across the floor to dump him on another body that's lying on the floor.
And they were in a pile in the middle. The young people that were there saw what happened. I could see that they were relieved. It was kind of like a breath of, they blew out the air, relaxation. At the front door, the police said, hey, la police. And so we opened the door. So they said what happened. These boys came in, and this is what happened. And I left it at that. And in those days, you could do that. There were a lot of police cars that were outside there, and a lot of parents had heard about it very quickly through the grapevine. When they came in and they saw what was going on and everything, some of the fathers said, well, it's about time that this happened to end this kind of bullying.
I had dropped one guy, Peter had, and Ralph had left the other 12 piled up in the middle of the dance floor.
This was actually what basically happened, and the only thing I could say is that I feel sorry for the fellas that I hit because they really suffered a tremendous amount of pain. You know, survival of the fittest, this still exists even today. If you're weak, people pick on you, they take advantage, and if you don't respond to what they do, they'll just continually badge you and pick on you. You have to frighten them, and you have to attack first. The idea is to attack first, because most of these guys do not know how to fight. That's the reason why there's strength in numbers. That's the reason why they travel in gangs, because single one or two of them out and they're pussies. It's as simple as that.